Okay, we're now recording. This is how we're starting things off. Welcome back to Rolls to D4. Woo!
Woo!
Woo! And we're all back
Let's go.
together. There's four of us again, since Tash has decided to turn up. Um. Well. Uh. Leah slash Ren, can one of you please do a recap for Eritrea? And Leah, no, sorry, Tash, you get to choose which one of them gets the point of inspiration. Once they've done. Who would like to start?
Elsie, do you want to start, or should I?
Yeah, I'll do the brief version. You give the details. If it's all right.
Yeah. I've got some of the details written down.
Eri went on a stage, play some music. That's what happened to your character. We tried to get drunk. Ren got drunk. I did not really. We met a person in a basement. He was a demon slash devil. A devil, right? Named Colin. He was really charismatic, and once outside of the cage, he wasn't that charismatic. And we I'm still pissed off. Like, you should see my face at the end of last session. I'm just like, because he ran away. At the end, there you go. And we investigate the mayor's house, and he was linked to the awful creature we met in our nightmares the session before. Yeah, that's about it. And the session ended of Leah and Ren being sad on Ren's horse. That's so confusing. Without any details, you must be like, what? Okay.
So the town was next to where the masters were. You know, where we all had the horrible nightmare stuff.
Yeah.
So the mayor was feeding people to the masters, and that's how he was living a half decent life in this awful situation. Good news though, Bren doesn't know, but the first full snack for Leah was actually the mayor. So we defeated an evil without even knowing it.
Oh, was that the person that died in the last session? Or the session before?
Yes. Yeah, that was the one that was flicking blood at the tiny hut to entice the vampire. Yes. I still think that's weird, bro. Still, to this day, in my brain's like, who would do that? Anyway, yeah. So that town was the closest one. Everyone was partying for the first time ever. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. We could hear them from the hut. They were shooting off fireworks, which for a moment Leah thought was actually loads of mini portals opening up above the town. So that was fun. We went down and we showed them that we killed the main lord, Kilvanian. We showed them the head, and then we all partied and stuff. You went on stage because none of them knew how to actually do music. They were just banging their hands against drums. Yeah. Then we went. They asked us to take care of the devil they managed to capture because he was out cold when it all started. When all the devils and demons ran out of this place. We had a very long chat with Colzaro Acepites de Previante. I'm trying. I am trying. I can't do these words. But yeah. Or for short, Colin. So we just call him Colin because obviously I can't say that. He was quite nice. He was sent here to be a messenger. He was meant to go to the archdemon Nalfeshni with a message. We managed to get the message out of him, which was close the portal. Now it's been going too long, so even the people back in the rings are mad at him. So this problem might go away on its own, even if we don't do anything.
Cool.
I mean, no one's seen Nalfeshni since the portal opened, so I think he's needed to close the portal or whatever the planewalkers are going to do. That's my assumption. We did get. I can't remember what we asked, and you did the 2 truths and 1 lie thing.
Okay, should I take over from here? You did well, right? Don't worry. So yeah, they found a demon in a basement that was trapped, and then basically said for exchange of information they'll let him out. Otherwise, the townsfolk were going to kill him, and he didn't want to die. He gave some information. Yes, he was here to see Lord Nalfeshny, who was the guy who you found the contract that the old king had signed back in the Demon City. And basically, he said that nobody's seen this big guy Nalfeshny since this started. He seems to have disappeared, and he made a lot of deals in order to get this invasion thing going, and people are getting annoyed that he's disappeared now. The two then asked him why Nalfeshny had come through, and he said, being a demon of deception, he didn't want to straight up tell them the truth, so he gave them 2 lies and 1 truth. It was up to them to decide which one was which. That was enough information, and he was a great fun character to play, and everyone liked him. But basically, they said, come with us, and we will take you to our army, and then we'll go and see Lord Nalfeshny, because he said Lord Nalfeshny will most likely be below the portal, which is where the center of everything is. And they said, yeah, I'll come with you. But then as they went out, Ren got drunk, Leah got interested in investigating, and he basically ran away with a rather fun final phrase, which I thought was a very fun final scene for Colin. But yeah, you now have a bit more information about what's going on. It was just an information episode because you weren't here. I didn't want to do too much. So that is where we are going to pick up, basically. The party is winding down at this point. I might suggest that you guys have looked to move on at this point, unless there's something specific you wish to do. There is. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, the party is really winding down at this point. People are, quite rightly as you said, stumbling off to sleep off hangovers, despite the fact they were drinking water, but they just believed it was alcohol so strongly they all got drunk. I'm going to say Eritrea, now that the party, you were kind of in the center of town playing music for all these dancing fake drunk people, and you're stepping down at this point as well, probably as Ren and Leah trot back into the center of town on the horse Barnard, not Barnaby. I actually got it right this time.
Bernardby.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bernardaby.
Bernardaby. So that is where we're going to pick up. I should probably set. I'm going to say there's still some music playing on in the background. So whatever I had you play last time, the tavern party one, just have that quietly in the background, and then we can get going with whatever Leah kind of would like to do. And I guess if you could fill in Eritrea as we start this off. So yeah, the townsfolk are kind of stumbling off to their own houses or collapsing against walls just to have a sit down, have a bit of a nap. It looks really weird, a party ending at midday. The suns are very definitely in the sky, even if they're mostly covered by cloud. And this is where we're going to pick up. The immovable grandstand is sitting in the main barn/pub, and they appear to be having an intense conversation together. Okay. Over to you. I would suggest start with Leah.
The thing I want to do is really quick, so as long as I do it before we leave this town, it's fine. So if we want to talk to the group, it's fine.
I mean, we should, but just in case we're unsuccessful, one of them decides to storm off and you don't get a chance to do your thing, you should probably do it beforehand.
Sure. I'll just disappear into the crowd, let you with Eri. I just want to go steal some fireworks.
Oh, what form are you in right now, Leah?
It's a good question. I'm still the brunette persona because we turned Colin into. He turned himself into my vampire self.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
To test people to see how they would react, and even if they were drunk, they didn't care that much, so that reassured Leah.
Cool.
Okay, I'm going to say that, yeah, you can sneak off to try and steal some fireworks. Roll a stealth check. There is somebody with a wide-brimmed hat kind of collapsed back against a small box of them. There's only a few left, but just try not to wake him up.
Dirty 20.
Nice. Yeah, you
Smooth.
like you probably didn't even need to sneak, but you being like the naturally sneaky person, you find yourself sticking to the shadows as like your instincts kind of kick in a bit and walking very softly, and you manage to sneak up. And I'm going to say you can get up to 5 fireworks, so you can take as many as you wish. Up to 5.
Do I have the closet though?
You do still, yeah.
You mean the chalk?
It's on me. Yeah.
Yes.
Can I put as many as I can?
Yeah, you can take up to the 5 that are in the box.
Oh, okay.
You were hoping for boxes and boxes of fireworks. Savage.
Okay.
Fuck it. No, you know what?
You know I will have fun with that, and I'll make you
Roll a
laugh.
D100.
Yes.
I'm too nice. to
Bear
do.
with me.
D100
This would be
is
my
very
one.
nice.
This will be my 10. It is a 58.
You get 58 fireworks.
Yes, this is going to be so fun.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
No one knows. I'll hide it in the closet under a cloak.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you
And I
were
go
doing.
That
With a
is
nonchalant air to the others.
I didn't even think about the fireworks. That's insane.
Chaos.
So, were you guys doing anything in particular, Eritrea and Ren?
Oh, while we were waiting,
Yes.
I guess at the moment, Ren would be trying to think about what he's going to say to whoever and how they're going to deal with the movable grandstand. So he's probably just sat somewhere in the somewhat sun, thinking.
Okay. And Eritrea, just for you, it's definitely a small farming town, quite old, decrepit buildings, but there's tankards of water lying around because people thought they were alcohol, and the immovable grandstand. After like your nightmare session, they definitely they didn't enter the party. They took somewhere quiet and clearly having some kind of discussion, but. It doesn't look like it's anywhere near finishing, so if you want them to do something or to talk to them, you're going to have to go to them.
Are they talking now?
Yes.
When we first got here, they were sitting on separate tables, so I thought we were going to have to do something to rouse them. In that case, this should be rather simple. We'll just go and ask them if they want to spend more time here or if we should get going.
Okay.
Sure. Yep, you can walk into the pub and it's just them sitting in a corner, and they kind of are having a moment's silence while they're clearly things are still a bit tense between them, but they're trying to talk. Devore looks up and speaks. Looks like the party out there's dying down then, I guess.
Yeah, they went too hard, too fast, but it was their first chance of partying ever, so I don't blame them.
Yeah, fair enough. Sometimes you're not in a partying mood.
I mean, after yesterday, I can agree with you, but I decided to drink instead. It's okay.
So,
Really drunk.
what's the plan, do you think?
I think we have two options. I think we can either stay here and rest up in a proper. We could probably easily get an in-room here, or we keep going. It's the middle of the day. We've got only a couple of days left before we're expected at the. I'm guessing there'll be like some kind of war camp.
Yes, I suspect so. So bear in mind how close the portal is. We're probably not too far away from it ourselves.
Yeah, you can see it from the colline. From the hill actually. Colline, it mean hill in French. Sorry.
It doesn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my
that's-
goodness! Oh, that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. That
I
is
love the
incredible.
world.
That is so... I genuinely thought you spilt the beans about the thing. I wasn't going to say nothing.
You know what? Leah will say that because they know French for a reason that you will learn later.
Okay. Colin can point it out to us another time, I guess. Honestly, I think we should move on. The sooner we get there, the better, I feel.
Would you like to take a little moment to talk about what happened last night, or we are just going to all forget about it?
I was planning on not talking about it again, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel like you needed to discuss?
No. I sang it all out last night.
Oh, it's more for you guys because you're always so cheerful and full of joy. It's hard to see you like that.
Well, I feel like whatever those little grey-orange things were, knew what buttons to push.
They call
Old
them the
wounds,
masters.
you know.
Up to you. I am here to listen to you if you need it.
Yeah, we all are.
I appreciate it, but the sooner we get this done, the sooner things can move.
I get it.
But the three of us agree on that one.
Well, it's an open invitation. If you feel like you want to, get some things off your chest, do some sharing, feel free. Okay?
Sure. Thanks. Right. I guess we're heading on then.
Yeah, do we go back to the boat, or do we think it'll be easier to go across with the land now? Because we're so close.
At this point, I suspect we'll be just a few hours away.
Gosh.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's getting real.
You're not checking out now, are you?
No.
We have heard that the big bad, Nal Feshni, is supposed to be, gigantic in size. So this could be, pretty fun. Don't you think, Tamora?
Yes, I do. You see, you know buttons to fresh as well.
Yeah, but I presume the good way, Friendly competition. The best kind.
Well, we're not going to do anything sitting here, so I guess make a quiet exit and head on foot.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I will ride Bernard.
On more feet for some people, I guess.
Did you got a rest?
Did you want to walk next to anyone in particular on this walk? Because if not, some discussions can occur.
Yes, I would offer Griff if he wants to ride Bernard for a bit. Like I'll go some distance and I'll be like, Griff, do you want to ride Bernard and rest your feet for a bit?
Devore will look down just like, he's saying you're too short and you're going to be too slow. And he would pick up Griff and put him on the horse.
I was trying to be... He's not going to want to talk to me now, is he?
Griff's just like...
That's definitely not what... Well,
Okay.
Griff, for someone so chatty, I noticed you've been really quiet since, yesterday. I know that's a lot. Really was.
Fair.
Wanna talk about it?
Just a shake of the head.
I hear you loud and clear, my friend. I do. Well, it's an open invitation.
Well, if no one wants to chat to anyone else in particular, the walk is going to take a while, and KV actually pipes up. You're kind of walking across this quite rocky terrain, a bit of a plain. You can see on some of the collins or the hills the glow of the red that is definitely getting brighter as you're getting close to it. But KV will just keep an eye on it after one eye and then just go, so, what are you getting out of this adventure, I guess.
Oh, would you like to go first?
Well, we're getting reputation is always nice. We get but I guess what we're really getting is something that's quite important where we're from, which is the story of it. In Igmala, we don't really have written history. We have oral history, and to have big tales that are worth telling is kind of the point of adventures from Igmala. So, when we heard the calls going out, we decided amongst ourselves that it would be an incredible tale. The retaking of the Demon Isles. I'm sure afterwards it will be, but it's not exactly fun while you're here, I guess. So we're looking at what's coming out the other end of it for us. And we're spurred on by our own stories that we've heard from our forebears. So that's it for us at this point. We've got everything we need. We've been adventuring for so long together. We've got everything we need back home. So that's kind of like what we're here for. I was wondering, are each of you three looking for something different out of this, or are you united in your purpose?
In a way, they're a little bit similar. I'm personally quite fascinated by the Feywild, and this adventure is just a way for me to hopefully get there.
Okay.
And I think that my friends are sharing this interest with their own quest too.
Yeah, I need to go to the Feywilds, I believe, too. But the whole, going around saving towns, being heroes, it's a good life. Not good while you're doing it, but feels nice at the end when you've actually genuinely helped people.
What about yourself, Evertra?
Many reasons for me, I guess. Like Ren said, saving people feels good, but also I'm a bard, I like to live the stories, so I can tell them later on. And honestly, just to prove to myself that I can do these things. Like, I want to be strong. And that's why I push myself.
Well, you've certainly chosen an interesting place to push yourself, I suppose. I mean,
Yeah.
here we are in one of the corners of the continent. I'm guessing far away from home for the three of you. And fighting a demon army is certainly something. Do you think it will be worth it?
I mean, you couldn't walk through that town near you without thinking it was worth it in some way. If we can give that feelings to a whole continent, that's just an incredible feeling. Albeit the masters were terrifying, but defeating Kilvanian was hard but fun.
Towards the
Sending all those demons packing, I felt so powerful in that moment. It'll be worth it. For sure.
I mean, I don't really want to give advice where it's not possibly wanted, but I guess you guys quite early on in your journeys together, but remembering why you're doing things is kind of how we've managed to stay going so long. Because if you lose sight of it, then it's difficult to keep going. And I hope whatever you find in the Feywild is exciting. I mean, why is it just a scientific fascination, or?
I I think someone's waiting for me there,
No.
but I don't know.
You've run away from a lover and forgotten?
No, never run away.
They'll give you a wink
no,
as they said that.
you know, aftercare is important. No, I think I think I forgot something, and I think I'll find it again in the Feywilds.
Fair enough.
I don't know why. It's just I don't know if it was a sight from Sune or what. Just that's been happening a lot recently.
And what was yours, Leah? You said you were fascinated?
Yeah. Actually, I kind of wanted to ask you a question, but I don't know, in front of everyone, it's a little bit weird. Do you mind if we do our rogue thing and just go a little bit in front of everyone? If it's okay.
I never said I was a rogue. I'm an upstanding member of society. But yes, I can.
Sure, honey, what you say? When they're a little bit more in front of everyone, I'll just ask, like, can I ask you something? And then I will answer your question. How do you... Is it easy for you to exist in society being a drow?
Whatever gave it away. Purple skin, I guess.
It's a great skin.
I know, it's wonderful. I can't say it's always easy. My kin are not exactly well known for their kindness and compassion. There's a reason why Mesopomanthan is spoken of quietly in some places. Ultimately, I found that I couldn't control how other people saw me. So I just try to put it out of my mind and just act normally as everyone else does. And I'll admit I made a point of being useful to some people, which helped early on. But ultimately I found one day stumbling across Griff and Devora, and they, when you find the right people, it doesn't really matter about everybody else. I still get some looks when I go to some places new, but it helps that I stick to the shadows anyway, I suppose.
I have no doubt that you try to behave like a good person. So I'm going to ask you an awkward question, but it's related to me. Like, it's not me trying to be rude. Are you never afraid that this darkness linked to your people could come out suddenly without you being able to control it?
Ma, you're asking me big questions.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Yeah, sorry,
But
I
hey,
didn't want to make you call. We can...
We're out in the middle of absolutely nowhere. If this is not a place you can ask anything, where can you? No. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. If I ever think I'm in a situation where I think I might act badly because of how I was raised, then I try not to put myself in that situation. If it's a situation I can't help, I can't help it. And especially when I was younger and more boisterous, ultimately you need to forgive yourself if it's outside of your control. Because if it is something that you genuinely cannot help, then when something bad happens around you, you are not... Well, you are responsible, but it's... Do you think you're a good person?
Damn, you ask some good question too. Um, well, if you asked me that a month ago, I'd probably have said yes. Now, even though I have wonderful people try to remind me that I can be a really good person, I have some doubts about the future me. It's complicated.
When you start off adventuring, you find yourself in situations you never thought you would be. You are up against sometimes the worst these worlds have to offer. And not
Sometimes you
everyone
become
comes
one.
out the same that they went in. In fact, I don't think you can. All of you are going to change. Some places, some ways for the good and some ways for the worse.
Yeah.
If you are putting everything you have into being that good person, and something outside of your control happens, it is outside of your control.
You're really wise. Yeah, I'm glad I met you guys. You're bringing some good thoughts and joy in our group.
I'm glad. It feels weird to have such frank and honest conversations when we're in the middle of this cesspit of a situation, isn't it?
It's weird. It's somehow inspiring. Pushes you to say what you have on your heart just in case you don't make it.
When you're at the end of the world, you can. There's no need to hide anything anymore, really. Dramatic, I know, but
No,
it's
love it.
true.
Great ones.
Write that down.
Yeah, I will. When during our last sentences, we're maybe slowing down, going back to the others.
So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can see the glow of some fires up ahead. So, if there's anything you wish to say before we rejoin the effort and things get started, now might be the time to.
I think I'm okay. Yeah.
I think Eri wants to talk to Ren.
Oh.
Griff, get off the horse!
You're done.
Do you want uppies?
I got this.
I will offer a hand.
I'll take it. So how you doing?
It's been a challenging 24 hours for sure.
Yeah. Obviously, like, a lot's happened over the last week or couple of days. I don't even know how long it's been. But
Yeah, it's been, I think, 4 or 5 days at this point.
yeah,
It's been quite a lot.
we haven't had a chance to speak, and obviously a lot happened, and I wanted to apologize, I guess.
So you can speak about it now?
Yeah. That's the thing. It was really hard not being able to tell you guys, and I know that it's just words, but I am really sorry that it happened. It was never my intention.
I forgive you because of the situation you were in, but not cool offering up my soul like that. My soul's already been promised to, I think it's called Bright Haven. I did have it written down. Brightwater. It's the realm of Sune. My soul's promised to there. don't like the soul stuff like at all. So if you could maybe not do that next time, that would be great.
Totally understandable. And honestly, like I said to you before, like I never meant to offer anyone's soul. It kind of just happened, and I didn't have a choice in the matter. It was a shit thing that I did. It was really bad, and I regret it deeply. And I would have died before that ever happened. Before I ever let that happen.
Yeah, I know. It just upset me. It was a very emotional day that day. I think it was also the same day that I found out that Leah's changeling. And
Yeah, you had a lot of stuff dumped on you.
I didn't realize that you knew since Radis, and I've just been walking around like an idiot, so I didn't feel great. And then that got piled on top of me just after that, so it was already pretty like not doing great. And then
It's a double whammy.
yeah, um,
I am
you know,
sorry about that too, but it wasn't my secret to tell. Do you know?
oh yeah, no, that one I completely understand. I completely understand both of them. It's just they both have made me feel a little bit, because I came on this adventure because you asked me to. So, um, uncontrollable situations, but it was two jabs in at me in a way, and it just didn't feel great. But I know it's not under your control, and you would never do anything like to intentionally hurt me. It sucked a little, you know.
No, I do understand, and it's one of those annoying things that all I can do is be better in the future and say sorry, and it doesn't feel like enough, but
No, it perfectly is like literally there is nothing you could have done about those two things. It wasn't your secret to tell, and you were literally promised to secrecy. Very devil deal kind of situationship there.
well, we live and we learn.
I completely get it, and honestly, it was probably your first. Well, technically, both of our first proper encounters talking to demons and devils. Well, it was my second one dealing with people from that kind of area. First time was much better, but yeah, I get it. It just sucked. That's all. Like, I'm not mad at you. It just upset me a little.
Yeah.
And then yesterday sucked as well. And I know both you and Leah managed to get out of your situations on your own. I had help, and that didn't. As much as I loved the help I got, that didn't also feel great. So I'm going into this next big war thing that we're doing, going to try and prove myself again.
Well, in my eyes, you don't need to prove yourself. You've done it countless times. Honestly, I mean, goodness me, you just did the finishing blow on a bone demon. Practically blew that thing's head off. Like, dude, you have nothing to prove. Nothing at all. You hear me?
I was playing it really cool, but he nearly crushed me afterwards. I should have moved out of the way and then hit him, but I
Yeah,
just
well,
felt
we're
like
not
in the
perfect.
moment.
We live and we learn, like I said. Like, with we're adventuring, we're learning as we go. And we've done some pretty badass stuff.
Yeah.
And you take a lot of the blows for us, on purpose. So you can pat yourself on the head here, I think.
I'm not very agile, so I figured my best case scenario is just to throw my body covered in this very shiny armor that I polish every day. And
It is beautiful.
I can't slink to the shadows like Leah, and I can't, use my charisma to wow a bunch of people.
What you do is show up for your friends and you protect them. So
That is my job. Yeah.
you do it. You do it well.
Changelings are actually from the Feywild, so in theory, because of my namesake is now Ren of the Feywilds, Leah is literally under my little dome of protection now. So I'm hoping me and Sune will be cool. The fact that I'm traveling with a what is it? That was a changeling vampire.
I lost count.
And then the psychic knife things. I think that's just something cool they can do. I don't know if that's alright. That's related to their birthright or anything.
When I get to that point in my brain where I'm like, wait, what are they? I'm just like, they're Leah. That's enough.
They are Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I did ask Leo to turn to me, and that was a force that was too dangerous even for myself. Like, oof. I do that in that regard. I do not give myself enough credit.
You know, I've missed talking like this. We haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, it's been a lot from since Shawshank. I think it's been quite a lot on and on. So, but you know, we're getting through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting through it.
Okay. You find yourself walking. Sorry, Leo. Was there anything that you wanted to? Okay. You find yourself walking through a narrow gorge between two hills, and you come out to the other side, and just in front of you is quite right. There is the light of some fires, but there is also just a sea of tents and soldiers in their dark blue crested armor. You're coming up to what's quite clearly some kind of gatepost, and there are some soldiers there with very large spears, which they all point at you as you come forward. And I will say, like, this encampment stretches an extremely long way, like not quite to the distance, but you're seeing the thousands of soldiers that came with you. You see siege engines like catapults. You see a makeshift wooden barricade going around all the sides. Tents. There's a constant hammering of hammers on metal as blacksmiths continue working. There's soldiers just in front of you doing sparring drills with their shields and spears up, jabbing at each other. And there's every now and then you hear the deep thunk of arrows hitting practice targets as archers are practicing as well. But the soldiers in front of you hold up their shields and their spears and just go, "Stop there! Identify!"
I'll just tap on the leg of Ari on the horse and say, "Can you show the gadget they give you to communicate that we are alive?"
Oh, sure, yeah.
You show it to them and they go, "Indeed. Head to the central tent. Commander Dursk will want to speak to you."
Right
Oh,
away.
he's all the way out here. That's cool.
Yeah. So you are kind of pointed into the distance, and thankfully, because you're coming out of some hills, you're on a slight rise, so you can see deeply across. In the centre, there does appear to be a big cylindrical tent in the very centre, which you're pointed to as the command tent. You pass, as I said, like thousands of tents, horses being looked after and prepped, with people constantly checking equipment, and there's constantly the clang of metal and chatter of the soldiers as they prepare. So I'm just going to send a link.
Can I ask one of the soldiers at the stables to give my horse a good looking after because he's before the big battle?
Yep, you hand it over, and it's very obvious which one is yours because it's got blue hair. And yes, it's being Bernard is being looked after. That was a terrible. That is not the one I wanted. Is it this one? Okay, I've completely lost my good music, so just go with the one that I said. It's really annoying. Whatever. Apparently it's quite quiet at the moment. And in fact, you can feel there's actually an uneasy, tense atmosphere. But you arrive at the command tent, and you're let in by two guards again. So they draw it back, and inside is this really, really quite large, like bottom floor of a building kind of size, circling tent. The floor is covered by kind of like woven wicker mats in order to stop some of the gunk, the black gunk which is covering the grass below your feet, getting onto. But you can tell people have been treading it in all the time, so it almost looks black itself. There's so many different tables scattered around with so much paper you can barely see the tables themselves, and there's just dozens and dozens of what look like quite significant people in the army with various, like, a few medals and stripes on all of their shoulders, walking around and talking in very, very serious tones. And at the centre, there is a desk that is devoid of paper, apart from one map covering this really very large table. And standing up, actually on a little box, is Commander Frederick Dursk, and he's pointing at various bits of this map and like manoeuvring little figurines of soldiers around on it. And he hasn't noticed you at the moment. No one else seems to be paying any attention to you at all, either.
Can I try to steal 2 little figurines, please? 3, actually.
Roll a stealth check.
Sorry, I'll be fast.
Like, you
I have
notice
an
off to
idea.
one side there is a smaller table which appears to be like a storage box for all of their little Warhammer figurines. What'd you roll?
10, 12.
No. Like, people do pay attention to you, start to go and pick them up. And in fact, there's a heavy thwack as a long, thin, like, wooden poker is smacked on the table next to you, and Frederick Dursk is holding the other end. It's be like, good to see you guys have arrived. We're starting to get worried. Put
Yeah.
the little figurines down. They're very important strategic figures, you know. In fact, you're currently holding me.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Yeah.
Ah. The Kindlers, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the immovable grandstand with you as well. So, I'm hoping you bring good news from the decrepit city.
Pretty good news, I'd say. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So yeah, the bone demon is dead. The demons.
Show the head of Lord Galvanian as
Yeah.
she mentions that.
Good lord,
we
that
killed a-
stinks.
We killed a necromancer.
Someone get rid of this. It's starting to stick on my bag.
Someone will just go and take it. A necromancer? Okay.
Yeah. The demons and the devils left. The town is free. And we also did some stuff on the way here, Ren. Did you want to tell that bit?
Yeah, so we've also managed to clear some kind of weird demon things called the Masters. They were doing some kind of nightmare stuff. We cleared that out. We did find the a warlock contract signed by Skyfist, and it was to have their patron be Nalfeshni, which is obviously the guy who opened this portal.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I think it's in the thing.
Yeah, I go get it. Don't bother yourself. It's fine. I got that. I'll come out. Close it.
Damn, that would have
There
been
you
useful.
Just imagine just a firework just shooting out.
Everyone ducks. No. You hand it to him. Yeah. He looks at it for a second. Bendy, would you mind coming over here? And he'll beckon to someone, and another person, a very tall, very stocky gentleman carrying a very large sword, steps up behind him, and he's actually someone who you kind of recognise when you were being what did I call you guys? Like the assistants, like the specialists. When you kind of recognise him, he was there as well. So he's not a planar walker, but he's one of them. He says, "This is Faindy. He was, and his teams were over at the city of Vermai, on the other side. And do you want to show them what you found?" And he will reach into his pocket and throw down an identical sheet of paper.
The Skyfist, or to
King Tobias Beaumont, signing to one Nalfeshni.
and then he turned them both against. I'm guessing your city said that the other city started it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Ah, okay.
Fuck. Okay, so he's probably got a lot of like. I'm guessing you also did you find Nalfeshni or any sign of him over by your side?
From the reports of the Mayans, no, the king and his remaining bits of his army strode out onto the battlefield, went here for the big battle, and never returned, and then demons came in their wake after the rift had opened. So, and you said that I guess by the fact you asked me, your side, the Skyfists blamed the Vermilions, and the Vermilions blamed the Skyfists, and that's why they've been at war. Bloody hell. It'll turn too dirty. I do not fancy being the person who comes to rule after this, trying to unite two sides of a very broken society who've been blaming each other for living in hell for 50 years.
Yeah, that's not going to be fun.
Apparently they're going to try and unite the two countries, and good luck with that.
Who are they?
Who, whatever ruler... Sorry, Commander Dusk will take over. Whatever ruler we find to put in place, basically. Which
What if we found one already?
I would say that would be remarkably fortuitous. You found somebody in the desecrated city who would somehow
No.
rule both?
This person lives outside of this island, and we haven't asked them if they're okay to be a ruler.
Okay.
But they are.
Enough generics. What?
Yeah, no, yeah. I cannot tell you until I tell them. It's just trust me, they're an amazing person, and they could be a good person to unite the people. Sorry, it's a to be continued conversation.
Do you mean the daughter?
Soup? Soup?
Soup.
Soup.
Yeah, we know that the daughter of the ones from your side, Beaumonts, is alive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? You found them.
Yeah.
But you knew about them before you came here.
Well, we didn't know how important they were until we came down here, because her and her uncle. No, not her uncle. One of the Skyfists was looking after her.
I'm sorry. You knew King Skyfist and the daughter of King Beaumont
Yeah.
before you came here.
Yeah, we helped them out of a sticky situation.
But we didn't know where they fit in the puzzle until we came here.
We didn't even know they were, royalty of this land. Like
Nope.
they were living very humble lives in
Okay.
a magical forest.
Of course they were. Magical forest. This sounds like a fucking fairy tale, but okay. And you're hoping the king will come back and unite the two.
No, the
Yes.
king passed away, but the daughter is still alive. If they wanted someone to unite under, then someone trying to make amends for the situation is probably the best kind.
Okay. I mean, yeah, they're basically the only... We were going to basically have to trawl through all their records to try and find some kind of living descendant, and you know one who makes soup.
Very nice
Yeah.
soup.
Very good soup.
Okay. Do you know where they are? Like, they're up in an enchanted forest.
No,
Not right now.
they're in Port.
Yeah,
oh,
wait.
what's it
Would I think you know enough. We need to ask this person if they're
He
okay.
definitely
to
just
maybe
said Port Ormir. Does she know who she is?
No.
No, that's the problem.
Oh, she just came here anyway.
Yeah.
The strings of fate, I suppose.
Not really.
King Skyfist passed away, and he was bringing, I think it was his dog tags or something. She's bringing something of his to bury it in this land, but she's waiting until obviously the demon infestation is cleared out.
Okay,
Anyway.
that's excellent. That is excellent. Really surprising. Excellent.
See, aren't you glad you hired us as specialists now?
Yes, wonderful. Very, very good. You chose a marvelous time to break into my office.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
I'm gonna leave it there.
So, you brought us this news, so I would guess that this now Feshni is behind this, and do you know if they're still here?
Yeah,
They are.
and they're really big.
Really big demon. I assume some kind of demon lord in... probably in that castle. Okay. Well,
There's another castle.
oh, you haven't seen... Okay. That was a good job. I need to do this anyway. Feeney just... Thank you. We'll take it from here. He'll signal to some of his sergeants and then gesture you guys to follow him. And he leads you outside the tent and towards the barricade.
Try to take 3 little figurines, please, on the way out.
You may roll again.
Thank you. Yes, 19 plus 9.
You're absolutely fine. You can take 3 small figurines, provided one of them is Commander Desk.
Do they have little dogs? Where are our dogs? Are they okay?
They're with you. They're fine.
Okay.
They have not disappeared. The 2 dogs that you summoned from your coat.
Okay. Easy.
I needed to do a final scout of the area before we moved in, and as I said, we were starting to think that you guys might not make it back. But you brought us good information. Well, lineage is very important. Honestly, the diplomacy of trying to work out who the next ruler would have been. I would have rather fight this battle twice rather than try and do that, honestly. But I think it's fair that you guys come and see what it is we're up against. And he'll lead you through the barricades, and you hear footsteps behind you, and like a set of 6 blue-armed soldiers actually caught up with you and are walking behind you in formation. And he leads you up one of the sides of the hill, and as you start going up there, you see the bright red getting closer and closer until you crest the hill, looking out across just what looks like a huge open plain. The first thing that grabs your eye is what's in the sky. A giant vertical tear, like shattered glass, is hanging in the sky above, glowing a horrible deep red. The air around it, like, refracts the light like a kaleidoscope, edging this deep red glow. It's opaque, so you can't see through anything on this light. But it is maybe 100 foot long, but high in the sky. Well, I'll tell you how high it is in a second. It is floating, and just the sight of it sets your stomach slightly askew. It looks perfectly unnatural, like someone is just holding like an image really close to your eye so it looks like it's really far away. That kind of optical illusion effect on your head gives you a slight eye strain as you look at it. It said, so, what do you think of the big portal then?
It's red.
Big.
Big. Do you
You
still...
know where it's actually open to?
This, judging by what's come through, either some form of the abyss or hell. Judging from the red, I would go with hell. The abyss is far more black and grey scale in demeanour.
I still think we have a good shot.
Yeah, I think you just like walk up there and close it.
Well, I don't think that, I think it's going to be a lot harder than that, but,
Indeed.
a smite here, a smite there, we'll be there before we know it.
How
I
many-
do feel like I have one more bit of information for you. We did over here, when we were in the city, apparently the other demons and the other archdemons aren't happy with Nalfeshni, and they were demanding he close the portal. So either he'll get scared and go back, or we could have a demon war here at some point. So either way, I think things are going to be pretty. But we can at least expect no reinforcements if all the other guys hate him.
Definitely true. That's good to hear. Honestly, I'm not surprise the demons are at each other's throats. That's kind of their modus operandi, the very nature of their beings. But well, I'm not gonna lie, you guys have exceeded expectations a long way. Especially as you're new to all this and you've done better than so many others could have done, including some of my own walkers. Definitely the toddlers, at least. But regarding how difficult this is going to be, he will take out from his pocket a small, very short telescope, and he'll hand it to whichever of each of you in turn. You might want to have a look at what's below the portal. And so, if the three of you are to look through, you angle down a bit, and you see coming into view is a ruined castle. It's much smaller than the ones from your ruined city. Much smaller, in fact. It appears to be more like a kind of magnificent chateau more than a castle. But it's sitting there and it's bathed in this deep red, and you can see holes through its roof. That this was, historically, from what we find from our records, the meeting place between the two castles. No man's land, if you wish, where the two would meet to discuss political matters. And so this is where their final battle took place. Both of them here. Thematic, don't you think?
Yeah.
Where diplomacy came to die. And for what you say, King Skyfist walked away, but elsewhere. He didn't go back to his own people. He appears to have gone to the city of Vermeil, taken the daughter of the king, and left the island. I'm not gonna lie, that's weird.
Wild, yeah.
Wild.
Especially if he was also under a contract.
Indeed. I mean, it would probably not be too unsurprising to suggest that King Vermeer, or King Tobias of Vermeer, died here. So you're probably going to find, well, if there's anything left of his corpse. Because, if you look down even further at the ground around the chateau, you will look down, and even from this distance, it looks like the ground is moving. It's bathed in this deep red. It takes you a second for your head to realise what it is you're looking at. And it is just crawling with demons. Thousands upon thousands of them. Surrounding this chateau, like an unbroken sea of horrors. That.
Yeah, okay, this is going to take a bit longer than I thought it was going to take.
You said you can do a few smites.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a few more than just a few smites. Yeah, maybe a lot of smites.
So, you guys, as I said, have done a lot of very good work here. If you wanted to not be here for this final assault, you're here voluntarily. I will not force you. This is war you will be stepping into. It will not be pleasant. And you guys are... It's not your inexperience, but your... you seem like quite positive people. War doesn't do well with positive people.
Is there no way to avoid it? Like speaking to Lord Fishny or something?
If he's here, he's going to be in there. If he's somewhere of importance, he's most likely going to be in the meeting room, which the blueprints suggest is essentially a kind of vault below that chateau. It's where they would go to have private conversations.
Okay. Do you have ways teleport by any chance?
Not
Invisibility?
that way and not through all of those.
So what, you're just going to send your people? You don't have enough people. They're all going to die. These demons are chaos.
Yes. Which is why our aim is not to win the fight. The aim is to get as many people as we can into that chateau. Find whatever it is that is causing that portal to open and disrupt it. I told you this back in the office back in Port Ulmir. When you disrupt it, the demons will act on instinct and try and flee back to their own plane.
Can I speak to my party for a minute? Like, it's a big decision you're asking from us.
Of course. I'm not sure what other information I could give you at this point. We don't know what's going to be in there. We suspect if something is sustaining the portal being opened. So, that's what we would need to disrupt, and as specialists, we would be trying to get you guys into that chateau. You wouldn't be... I'm not saying you guys would be frontline. That's unfortunately what an army is for. So, if you have anything... Like, if you wanted to try and step through, like, get in there without a fight, you would in fact be hard-pressed, but not impossible. If you were skilled enough. But you would have to talk to me, and I would have to say yes or no to whatever you had to plan. Because if it goes wrong, you're suddenly in the middle of that by yourself. And you may lose us what we need to get in.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
If you wish to take a few minutes, please do. I'm going to be doing a last bit of reconnaissance from here, and he'll take the spyglass back.
Okay, I guess we'll step off to one side.
Please do.
Yeah. We do have a way to enter, but do we want to? I don't want to sound like an awful and selfish person, but I don't know. I didn't plan to die today. Not like that. In this chaotic plan.
I mean, we could try and think of an alternative plan. I think if we do the commander's plan, we should be fine. There will be as they said, they're going to try and get as many people in there with us as possible. You know, so we will have a force down there. We were told by Colin that Nalvashni is a giant. Like, we are going to need the help, so that idea isn't a bad one. I don't want to leave things how they are. Like, that's not the way this land should look. And while I was trying to explain one of the things to this, I realized that maybe the demons that are getting pissed off with Nalvashni might come out and start a whole other war on that side, and that idea scares me even more. Because they're not going to care about the land, at least we do.
Yeah. We do have a way to enter, like it's the old trick of you go in the closet and I turn into Colin to cross and enter the chateau and ask to speak to my master. But then, once we're there, what do we say? How do we convince him?
You want to try and talk to Nalvashni? I mean, if we could figure out what the truth was that Colin said in that game, we would have some leverage, but I've been trying to go over in my head and I can't seem to figure out which one it is in particular.
Yeah, Eri, Colin, the devil, said that there was maybe a rare artifact or a contract binding the entirety of the country, but we don't know what Fishni is after.
Hmm.
Just know that he loves trickery, anger, hatred. He's very intelligent and loves to show pride. That's all we got.
Well, I've experienced firsthand how talking to a demon goes or a devil. It doesn't go well. Especially if this one is intelligent. Then we should be afraid.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll end up in a similar situation as we did with Sylvanian, and that was not an amazing position to be in. Honestly, after all the stuff that Nalfeshni spilt all across this country, I don't really want to see him walk away. I want him to suffer for what he's done. That's just, I know that's me. I know that's the paladin in me, but
I know, Ryan.
I saw that city and it was terrible. It was absolutely the most horrible thing I've ever seen. And that was these people's lives. You shouldn't get to just walk away from this.
I know, Ren, but what about our lives?
We're the Kindlers. We figure it out. We're still alive so far. You know?
Isn't all we need to do is disrupt the portal, right?
Yeah, it might not even come to a big fight.
But how do we know how to do that? Is there a plan on how to disrupt the portal, or is this literally just going to be running in blind?
Well, we have bits and bobs of information that we've gathered as we've been doing our information gathering, and the same as the other side. It's from what we've got already. I think it has something to do with the contracts. There's a contract on both sides. Maybe there's a way that we can figure out how to use that. Obviously, we won't be doing the charge today. We can actually look at all the evidence and actually see what plans we have. But
It's also that we need to find the source of the race, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how it works. I feel quite overwhelmed right now. It's like it's a really big job for us.
it would have something to do with. You said that the corpse of the former king
Yeah.
would be here. Maybe there's something on that we could use. There's a good chance that they did try to talk it out in that conference room thing, and maybe that was where this whole thing stemmed from. So maybe there might be something in there. We do have some kind of bits and bobs that's thing, but we'll figure it out. We always do. In impossible odds, we've figured it out each time.
I mean, you do have a badass weapon now.
Yeah. I'm really not talking out of fear, guys. I just feel like I don't know.
No,
Bigger than us.
I get it. So we've already fought so much and come this far, and now it's like, this is nothing compared to what we've just done, and that was a lot. I mean, I almost got you guys killed.
It's all good. We managed to kill the devil, and it was rather fun to be scaring a lot of demons and devils away. So some good did come out of it.
Whatever you choose to do, I'll do my best to follow you and to protect you. That's for sure. Just don't forget about your own lives. That's all I'm asking.
I'm not planning on falling here. I've got someone to meet, I think, and I would be quite heartbroken if I didn't manage to do that.
But I guess we did come here to close the portal, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we can't really do that without doing this.
Yeah.
The only question is if we want to do the big charge in with the army, or if we want to try and find our own way in. But, you saw the spyglass. That's a sea of demons and devils. Like, I can hold my breath for a couple of minutes, but there's not going to be a place to take a break. And we don't really know if Colin was on good terms with everybody. You know, he was a tricky guy, so he could have got through the zone, like using his own wits or whatever. But there's still a sea of demons. Like, I thought the ground was moving.
I know, it's gross. I can be a random demon, that's not a problem. It's just, I know, you're right, it's really long to cross that. Yeah, I'm trying to tell myself that if we weren't there, they would still do their battle. They are soldier, is the choice they made in life. It's just so fucked up. It's so hard to witness. Anyway.
Gonna be a lot of blood
Yeah.
slaughter.
On the
Oh.
plus side, if they have 3 more people now that we're doing this, then if we win, we've got a pretty good track record, you know.
Your optimism stresses me out, but I know you mean well. Thank you.
I do my best. But I do realize the situation we're in, but I'm trying to see the good side of it.
Okay. So I guess let's go tell the chief that we want to be on the investigation part.
Sounds good.
We roll back to the... Ah no, he's outside. To the edge of the colline. Not to the hill, sorry, not colline.
Commander Dusk is just noting things down in a library. You got me saying the wrong words in a notebook.
The
And looking
bibliothèque.
through his thing every now and then.
Oui, oui, oui.
So you have you made your decision? There is no shame in ducking out of this one if that's what you choose. You've already helped so much.
We will not be ducking out. We will still remain as your specialists. If you can clear us the way, we will get in there. We were trying to think if there was a way to get in there without the army, and unfortunately, I think we don't have the magical means that we could really do with to do it. I think that will come later on in our adventures. So unfortunately, it looks like we are going to have to go in with the army.
I have a way to be linked to you, like that we can communicate information directly to you.
Myself.
Yeah.
I think
As
that
long
might
as
be
you're
useful.
not too far away.
No,
Say, like,
I
sitting
will
out
be
behind, so
in there
we'll
as
do
well.
it on the day.
Yes. But yes, we will be. I am heading in with everybody as well. There's nobody sitting out of this fight. Essentially, so if you're going to join, I'll let you know essentially what's going to be going on.
Okay.
The good Royal Marine Corps of Baramok will be essentially spearheading. We will be driving a thick wedge from basically this hill to that chateau. When we reach it, they will push to the sides and release all of us, the specialist and the player walker side. And so we will be the first ones in. You will be kept away on the way in, away from the fighting as much as is possible, but judging by the number of things I see flying around, you will need to keep your head up.
Understandable.
I understand this was a big thing. With you guys here, and a decision made, and information gained, we'll be getting ready to leave in about 6 hours.
6 hours.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what we need. Essentially, the soldiers are going to start mustering the second I get back. Take your time, get some rest, talk to anybody who you wish to.
Is there a tent that we may use?
Yes, of course. Specialists will have their own little area. I'll have someone direct you to it. Good luck. I'll see you on there.
Wait, do you have any kind of healing potion? Anything that could protect us a little bit more?
I'll find something.
Thank you.
recognition for your service.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
The soldiers will head you back.
I don't like this guy. Okay. I like the way you play it, guy.
Yeah.
That's fine. You don't have to.
I mean, they caught Leah twice. The first time he cheated, so I can understand
That's fine.
it.
so
Yeah.
you are led back down, and you are directed to an area of tents where you see a number of the specialists. You actually see fewer than were in the courtyard when you were given your wristbands. Not substantially, but not everybody is there. You see a few sporting some wounds as well. As you're actually led through, you pass an area which seems to be completely penned off from all the others. There's a thicker fence around, like a courtyard, or a fence within the larger battlement fence. And inside, you see, kind of heaped up, and most importantly, tied up, a fair large number of demons. And one of the soldiers leans forward and say, we couldn't kill them, because if you start shedding blood around here, then all the other demons over there would have caught wind of it. So, when we got caught up, they had to be
That makes sense. Okay.
tied up. So they couldn't tell anybody, but we couldn't deal with them either.
Understandable. I'll give him a tap on the shoulder and give him some guidance, like, just in case you need it. Soon he's watching over you.
Cheers. Oh, Sune, you, surprisingly just over there, a few tents over, the quarters of many of the religious factions who have headed with us, and the Church of Sune is there, of course.
I might have to pop in before we go.
Giving good comfort to everybody in a time of need.
Thank you.
Well, I'll leave you to it. And so you are headed over to a few tents. They're very kind of roughshod. They are basically just the pyramid on some wicker mats, again, with some bedrolls thrown down on them. It's very basic, but it's comfortable compared to the ground. There's a few like little stools around, so if you want to sit down to chat, you can as well.
I'd lay down straight away.
So we got told 6 hours, if I'm right.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my 4 hours of sleep with my trance, so I can change my spells ready for the big battle. And then for my last 2 hours, I'll probably go to the tents of Sune. So if everyone else wants to do their stuff, that's fine.
Okay. Eri, what's your plan?
I think I'd do the same, but probably the opposite way around. So probably spend the first 2 hours just exploring a little bit. I might just like go wandering around, see if there's anything I can find, or like see who's around, because I'm a bit restless.
Yeah,
Nervous.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you would like to speak to?
No, there's no one I'm looking for.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some options. As you're running around, you see Jalek, the centaur who was helping train you guys. You see the barman who had been helping Ren back in Port Almere. Did you know anybody else? Actually, I'm going to say you briefly run into Commander Dursk again, who hands you 3 round bottomed flasks filled with a red liquid. The things you were requested, the healing potions.
Thank you. Yep, much needed. Thank you very much.
Out of interest, Eritrea, how have you found leading?
Well, it's not without stresses. I'll tell you that. It's a lot of responsibility.
He'll gesture around to everyone around him to be. I know that.
Yeah, but do you know what? I wanted to become stronger, and I feel like I have, and I owe that partly to you. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
I'm glad. And do you still have that scroll I gave you?
Yes.
Had you forgotten, or?
Yes.
Well,
Yes, I heard.
you never know when that might come in handy.
I was trying to actually look back at them in person. I was trying to look back at what this was, and I can't find it anywhere, Greg.
It's essentially Shield of Faith, so +5 to AC, but
That was it.
it's an area spell, so everyone that you want within it, within about 10 feet or 30 feet of where you place it, gets +5 AC. And you can use it as a reaction.
So shield.
Shield of Faith. Oh no, so it's gonna, because,
Write that down.
yeah, I'm just calling it Shield of Faith. It's not, there's no, like, name on the scroll, but that's what the effect is.
Well, you could come up with a name.
Yeah. A Song of Protection. Because it was written, as you remember, by his old bard friend, if you remember the story behind it.
Aww. Yeah. Song of protection. I like that. Cool. I was wondering if I could talk to the sorry, what was her name again? The centaur lady.
Jalek. Yes, absolutely.
Jalek. Dijak. Jalek. Yep.
Dijak? No. Dijak's not here. Jalek's over there.
Jalek. Right. Yeah. 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 Do you think that's okay? Do you think they'd mind?
Yes, I think she's just preparing her own weapons. It's her own pre-fight ritual.
Cool.
Good luck.
Cool.
I'll be off.
Yeah. You two. I'll see you on the battlefield.
And he'll stride off, but you hear his voice like barking orders. Like you can't see him, but his voice carries. But yeah, you can head over to Jalek if you wish, and she is there, and she's got her the chest. I was going to say her chest. No, she's got the chest open in front of her, and you see the two like big like spiked bull gauntlets that she punched Ren with once. And she's got those, and she appears to be like covering them in some kind of oil and buffing them up.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Ah, hello. Yeah, all good here. Just making preparations. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. I was gonna ask a favor. If it's okay if you can't, but we've got like some hours to kill, and I'm a little like pent up. Like, could we have like a quick training sesh or like a quick spar or something?
Yes,
Is that
I
right?
didn't get much training time with you, since you were cooled off by Dursk. Of course. What do you want to go
Thank you.
through? Quick boxing match?
Yeah, that would be great.
She puts down the spiked gauntlets with my hands,
Oh, thank
of course.
you. Good, they were making me nervous.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say you get a nice boxing match in, and she shows you, a few moves of, how to punch properly. Because I don't know if you've ever been like properly taught. So yeah, she shows you
No.
how to get a good amount of force behind it.
Wow.
Oh, may you not
this
need
is
it.
really like really useful. Thank you, because like I'm not really very muscly, but I've never been taught to punch, so at least now I know.
I mean, I'm not a fantastic trainer. I'm not an expert in anything. I've got, a few different skills, which is why I was asked to look at you guys. But if you ever find a master, learn what you can. It will always be valuable.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, and I wish you well on the battlefield.
Yourself as well. So that was Eritrea's little thing, and then you said you're going to go and take your 4 hours rest. Leah,
Yeah.
you said you're going to have a lie down when you first got to the tents. Was there anything you wanted to do after that?
Well, they don't sleep, so I don't think they're going to lie down really for a long time because Ren is doing their meditation next to them, and they feel maybe a bit uncomfortable to just observe them. They're just going to wander around and probably see every train. On the way, they probably stum like 2 or 3 apples, and they're just observing her. And probably when you're done heading to the tent, I'll just like throw one of the apple to you and be like, "That was really cool."
Thank you.
That's it. That was just my
Okay.
participation.
Ari will be chuffed with herself and just like walk off.
That's cute. Well done, me.
Nice. And Ren, you have done your meditation. And you said you wanted to head over to the tents of Cerne. Cerne?
there is one-
Tents of Sune.
So no.
There is one conversation I would like to have with Leah before I go, though, if that's okay, Leah. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I'll come out of my trance. Like, so I was thinking, Leah, when we last fought a demon, obviously you went down and we struggled to figure out how to get you back, right? And obviously none of my healing magic works because of the situation. I've been trying to think about ways I can still help in different ways, and I have two maybe solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is a spell that I can cast on you before we fight, which means that you will be resistant to pretty much all types of damage, and anything that you take, I take half of. So every time you get hit, I would share that pain with you, and I can heal easier than you can.
What was the second option?
Second option is still a spell, but that one would be heroism instead, which is I would give you a little bit more. It'll be harder to hit you, AC +1, and you'll get some temp hit points every turn. 3, but they don't stack, and you can't be frightened either. But I can only concentrate on one of these things.
How many, spell slot, I think, called that, do you have?
So if it was the first one, which is Warding Bond, that's a 2nd level spell, so I can only do 2 of those a day. And if it was Heroism, it'd be a level 1 spell, and I can do 3 of those a day.
I could be willing to take on the offer of the second one, but I think I'll be okay. The healing potion, and I'm still figuring out if I can heal thanks to, my little curse. So, as I'm still experimenting, I'm going to say no to both. But thank you.
Okay.
You should keep your magic.
Well,
For
if
what's
I
going
see you in trouble, I'm going to use one anyway. But I was just checking to see if you wanted me to do it before the fight, or if anything got dire. 'Cause
If you do,
I'm not going to watch you
please don't
die
use.
later.
Please don't use the first one.
The first one's not that bad. I can heal really, really easy. I have my lay on hands healing.
I would be too uncomfortable.
If you took 3 hits, I would take those 3 hits as well at half the damage, and then I could just heal myself back up. That'll be completely fine.
Still, second one is the best option.
Okay, I will keep that in mind. And then with that, I will head over to Tent of Sune.
Okay. The Tents of Sune sounds quite funny. You head to the Church of Sune.
Actually, yeah.
You find you find you're around your own people as you start walking through the kind of like church quarter of this, as like paladins and clerics, all dressed in various shades of metallic armor, are all around you. Their clanking is incredible, but you find the Church of Sune quite easily, and you find actually High Cleric Cranston, who has taken off his kind of chest piece and is polishing it. And you actually see, I described before that actually inscribed on every piece of armor is mantras and words of Sune. And now he's taken it off, you actually see his bare chest. He also has the same thing tattooed all over his neck down. And he looks up and said, "By my, it is good to see you, Ren."
Good to see you as well. Did you say Cranston? It was Cranston, right?
Cranston, yes.
Cranston, yeah.
That's fine.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you as well, Cranston. It's been a hellacious couple of days, has it not?
A hellacious. I like it. Yes, it's been quite interesting here. But we're here to do our bit, and we've done that quite successfully so far. I've just been running through drills with my acolytes here, and around you see there are much less fancily dressed, but still heavily armoured, which you will recognise from your own thing as like acolytes of the church, but more menial footmen of the church. So we will be heading in along with you, of course. So look out for us, and we shall be looking out for you as well.
Of course. If I can help it, I will aid you as best I can.
Yes, well, We're all going to be pitching into this one together, it appears. And he reaches over and he pats just a giant, like, 6-foot mace, which is standing next to him. The, like, about 2-foot ball of spiked metal on the end. And you see that the central ball is actually in the shape of a rose, and some spikes are coming out of that.
My goodness, your weapon is amazing.
I am a high cleric. It does come with some perks. And responsibilities.
Has it got a name?
Rose Hammer.
The Rose Hammer, wonderful.
Simple, but does the job.
I mean, I would never say simple looking at this. This is exquisite.
Tell you what, it's a bugger to fix when it breaks.
I can imagine, yes. Yeah. I'm sure the local blacksmith loves and hates you all at the same time.
Oh, he does. Especially as I asked him to do this armor. And that was intricate.
Yeah, I've never thought about putting the mantras on my armor. Do you have a good one I could use for the coming battle?
Yes.
Sorry, Greg.
I have no words right now. He tells you a nice phrase that you do recognise, but it's all about meeting every challenge with honour in your heart and a smile on your face.
Good one.
Damn, you put me on the spot there and I failed.
I'll have a look at some later and I'll write them down. But yeah, I'll insert thing here. I will put in a phrase on my armor alongside him and talk about the trials and tribulations of the last couple of days while I'm doing it.
Excellent.
But I will also half gloat because for some reason, whenever this guy's around, I always gloat. I will say that I killed the lord of the city, Kilvanian. Sorry, dude.
Mighty impressive. Good works, good deeds, and good luck.
I mean, I said I'd get my name out there, and I did.
Well, live through this, and I'm sure the lady herself may take note.
I think I might just do that.
Good tidings.
I will do a prayer first as well.
The entire lot will actually gather around you and join in your prayer. So there's a High Cleric Cranston and maybe 6 acolytes gathered around to join in this prayer.
Amazing. If I realised it was going to be that, I would have written one down. I haven't got one written down, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I would have written one down otherwise.
Okay.
But yeah, I will lead prayer. Gonna roll to see how well I did because I can't come up with one.
You can roll a religion or performance. It's prayer. I'm going to say religion. This needs to be religion.
I'm actually good at religion. I will give myself a tap on the shoulder beforehand, and I'm speaking her words so she can guide me.
This is a prayer. I'm going to say you get an automatic 4 on this dice.
Nice, I need that. So this is +3. Oh, nice. That is a 19.
26. Yeah, you lead them in an excellent prayer, and you feel that familiar warmth seep through you and your amulet. The time is coming. In fact, you hear some shouts echo across the entire enclosure, and you turn around and you basically see that all of the encampment walls have been taken down, and there is now just a sea of blue pointing towards the hill in the direction. And you see, in fact, I'm going to say Jaluk walking through your area and saying, "Come on, it's time."
Lead the way, Jaluk.
Yes.
Lead the way.
The two of you, Leah and Eritrea, will be collected as well. You take your positions quite deep. You're about 20, people away from the front. It's really deep. and it's just a sea from as far from one end to the other. And you hear just Commander Dursk's voice echo across. Said, "It is time. Begin." And with a deep crunching and treading of feet, the company moves forward. This is where we're going to take a break. I suggest 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, we will join you soon. So we are back from the break. We have a bit more somber music playing, but we have this basically blue wall ascending these hills, cresting them, and heading down. And you are currently cresting that hill. You see that kind of shattered red kaleidoscope hanging in the sky, lighting up this chateau that you're heading towards, and there's the crawling carpet of demons before you. But all you hear is the heavy trudging of armoured feet across the blackened ground. And they start heading down. And then you hear in front of you a cry, an inhuman cry, as basically the first demon spots the army coming over the hill. And this cry suddenly starts up a cacophony of roaring and hissing and just, as I said, inhuman noises as this carpet of demons slowly, like a breaking dam, starts coming up towards you. Immediately, the soldiers around you raise their shields, ready their spears, and you notice that the front lines start pushing as an arrow, sliding against each other to start forming a pivot, a wedge, which meets the demons first. The first contact is heavy. There are cries and screams that start immediately, both human and inhuman. But kind of second by second, the wedge, it appears to stop as the wave of demons hit, but the shields hold, and eventually as the spears fly forward, the wedge starts pushing inwards. Every now and then you see a blue body in front of you fall, and immediately the unit moves up again as the soldiers from behind step up to take their place, and this wedge of blue starts pushing in to this red tide. It is loud, it is a horrific cacophony of shouting and screaming and roaring. The light from this red crack is bathing everybody in this deep red, and you see it covers up wounds almost because the red kind of blends together with any red of the blood which is being spilt. You are sitting behind this spearhead as the wedge starts pushing in front of you. It's you. You notice Commander Dursk standing not too far away. The immovable grandstand is nearby, where KV has their hand crossbows out and every now and then is firing off a shot. But not many. You've been told essentially to not waste your energy here because you'll need it when you reach the chateau. Devora, you notice, has gone into her more bestial form that you only saw for a split second back in the city, where she has grown even larger and her axe is crackling with lightning. And Griff is standing there, shield at the ready, despite the fact he's so far away from the enemy. And you slowly are being led forward. This blue wedge is breaking every now and then as just these horrible spawns of hell. You see things look like fused and mutated animals that are, the size of a man are slashing forward. You see horrible appendages like tentacles whip against shields only to be stabbed back. Every now and then you see an unlucky soul get grabbed by one of these tentages and pulled into the field to disappear. Well, despite how far away you are at the back, you are not entirely safe as you see winged creatures also take off and start flying over the wedge. And I'm going to say one of these, they look kind of like floating, like deformed harpies with this huge, long, spiked whip like barbed wire, is going to streak overhead and whip it down at the main group of you. You're all going to need to make dexterity saving throws.
Oh, right. You're all in my 10-foot aura, and so is like
Yes.
the immovable grandstand, I'm guessing.
Everyone is, yes.
So how
Nice.
much do we add with your thing?
+3.
And we can use our saving throw bonuses, right? On a saving.
Yes.
That is. Yeah.
I got a 16.
16.
Me too.
16.
I got a 26.
You're all fine. You actually, like, the glinting of the metal catches your eye, and you actually manage to you dive out the way as the group is, like, split in two. You actually see that Devora doesn't go out the way, but you do know she's noticed it, and she reaches up, grabs the wire in her hand, and you see her bleed little, but she just pulls it down, and the harpy who was attached to it is pulled down into a group of soldiers who then descend upon her with spears. This...
Nicely done.
Yeah. So you see her just shakes her hand slightly, but you see very quickly that the wound closes up and just wipes the blood off. Gives a grin, and you see that even, like, the long hair she has is crackling slightly with electricity. And, like, she's probably about 9 foot tall at this point. Like, when, like, she grew. And she's looking even more ferocious than usual. She is looking out. She looks like... she's obviously not demonic, but in this deep red light and this huge crackling beast. And she looks at you, just gives you a thumbs up with a smile that kind of fades away the second she looks away. But the wedge is pushing ever forward. You see that before there was about 20 people in front of you, and you see that number has dropped by a couple as some of the first waves have fallen. On your way, you have to step over some blue armoured bodies which are on the ground. This goes on for at least half an hour. This is extended bloody fighting. And it never relents. It never gets easier. If you look behind you, you see that some of the blue-clad soldiers have stopped and are starting to form, essentially, a channel which you are being led through, and they are protecting your rear as well, as they are trying to keep this channel open to get all of you in. It's tough going. And other demons fly up and try and get over behind the soldiers, but they are picked off by archers skilled enough to be able to hit them, and every now and then this squelch, like this like weird eyeball encased in like red flesh kind of squelches down next to you as this like deformed like winged eyeball has been shot out of the sky. Eventually, though, you do in fact reach a drawbridge over a moat towards the chateau. You hadn't been able to see the moat. There were that many demons when you were far away. But a drawbridge is it's already down, and you see there are these creatures that are going to surge out of the broken down. What you can imagine one day would have been beautifully lacquered front doors, but they are destroyed to smithereens beneath the feet of the demons that charge out the door. But again, the spearhead breaks it apart. And you actually notice in front of you, the spearhead starts to open as the tip of the spear has reached the doors of the chateau. There is a cry from Commander Dursk of, "Forward! You know the job. If you find anything, if you find anything, don't touch it with your bare hands. Disrupt it how you can, but don't touch it. Good luck." and he will draw the rapier that you had seen in the corner of his office in Port Almere that you nearly nicked. Its long, thin blade is trailing like this weird blue essence as it's turning the air around it to frost crystals that kind of like cryogen, like dry ice looks like it's falling off it. And he himself will charge along with the planar walkers, the specialists around you. You see Devora in front of you charge forward with Griff and KV able to keep up with her magnificent stride length. Do you charge in as well?
Yeah, I pull draw my halberd. I'm on Bernard. I poke her forwards. I do a little battle yell as I push forward too.
Leah and Eri?
Takes them a split second to react, but hearing the cry of Ren, they'll probably have the strength to do the same and continue.
Yeah, I'm running after Ren.
Okay, yeah. Behind you, there is just a flow of the people, the specialists, and that was where some of the religious orders were as well, and they are now all flowing into the entrance of this chateau. Maybe you were told it's most likely going to be downstairs, where this conference room is going to be. As you push forward, you hear, just as you go in, you hear from above you a deep roar. Echoes across the countryside. Looking up at the portal, you see emerging from this red depth what appears to be an enormous winged leviathan or snake. Its round, bulbous head pushes its way out, and its eyes, too many. Pythons and snakes only usually have 2 eyes. This is about 6 different ones, which angle down. And as its body comes out, you see it beating like a dozen wings along its spine as it emerges and just starts flying around the battlefield, surveying and giving a deep roar as it's opened its fanged mouth with far too many teeth.
I want it.
This is about the size of maybe like 10 full-size warships flying above you.
Well,
Like,
I need to ride this thing. Okay.
I'd probably look at Leah and be like, "You can't steal that one."
I know.
you enter the chateau doors to be met by a hell of a sight. The uniform, like, spearhead that had led you in has now broken as it's gone in, and there are now pockets of fights all around you. You see Devora is her axe has already been dropped off to one side, and she is using her hands to basically grapple with this kind of huge, almost like mutated starfish with multiple arms lashing at her. But she is holding onto it tight, and you see that Griff and KV are fighting it from behind, trying to get what they can. But every time they cut off a little bit of it, you see it, this disgusting squelching noise grows back in an extremely difficult looking fight. Perhaps off to the right through a pair of, again, this doorway, you see Jalek just swinging and just punching this quite smaller demon back against a wall, and she turns and sees you gone, and she like raises up one fist to you in a moment of solidarity before off from one side this like rhino type beast charges into her side, her flank, and she goes flying out of sight. You push deeper into this entrance hall. You see this just an enormous like flesh ball of maybe 7 or 8 foot tall, like just filling one of the side rooms, and just eyes keep popping out of it and being sucked back in. But around it, you see this weird, like, blue-white gas popping around as, just for a second, this blue-white gas kind of forms in front of the beast, and you see it's taken the form of Dursk, as he has his rapier out to one side, and he looks at you, gives you a nod, and then seems to short teleport up into the sky above the demon, slashing at one of the eyes before disappearing into this mist again. Yes. I've got this one. Go on. And you see in front of you, at the end of this entrance hall, is a set of stairs heading down. At the moment, there do not appear to be any demons capable of stopping you, as they appear to be all interrupted by the other fights going on around you. And so, do you make your way towards it?
Yes.
You start getting close to it before this huge... The wall next to you seems to explode from within, showering you all with rubble, as this enormous kind of humanoid red demon holding an enormous axe, which you can see is dripping with this horrible red liquid, towers over you, raise it, and it's going to make a strike down at all three of you. What is your armor save for this? I will say this guy is of a titanic size. He is maybe 12 feet tall, hair rippling with muscle, and he's just sweeping down with you with this giant axe.
AC on that one, is it?
Yes, I need to know what people's AC is.
I got
13.
Okay.
14.
Okay. If there's nothing anybody would like to do,
Do we have any chance to do anything to this?
Yeah.
Can I dodge?
Fuck, okay. No, I just rolled a 1, a 3, and a 7. Legitimately, I can take a photo if you want. That is a 1, a 3, and a 7.
Cool.
You all get missed. Holy shit. That wasn't meant to happen. Yeah, you... Okay, fuck. As the axe comes down, this glowing gold halberd, or like mace, flies in from the side and smacks it across the head, sending it stumbling. And from behind you, you see like the words on his armor now glowing. This kind of deep golden red as High Cleric Cranston surges forward with his acolytes, and between them they seem to have formed this golden thread from each other as they begin basically tying this round this demon. He looks at you, looks at three of you, gives you a nod before holding out his hand, and this giant glowing mace flies back to his hand, and he faces down against the demon again. Okay, fuck.
Cool.
Cool as hell.
You
Damn.
head down the stairs, and you find a giant metal door. What looks like a vault door. And you see there are tumblers where someone might input a code here, using some fancy gear machinery on the inside. But it's slightly ajar. And just above the numbers is a little piece of paper.
Grab the paper.
Yeah. On the paper it says, "An open door for an open door. Colin."
I'm
in love.
So you swing this door open. It's heavy. But you open it up, and you find yourself just more staircase going down. There's what looks like braziers burning down both sides. Sorry, can you hear that?
What's happening in Leicester?
I thought that was in the music for a second. I was like, oh,
Oh yeah.
We're to the danger zone, yo.
Oh,
no.
hey, before you continue, I forgot to say I have a telepathic link with Ren, Eri, and the chief.
Okay, please roll 2d your psychic dice for that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
For 3 hours.
3 hours. Okay. But you managed to open this door, and you just see more stairs going down. And you start heading down. And as you do, you hear again this deep guttural roar booming across. And if you turn around, you see the front of the chateau just explode inwards as this giant-headed snake blows through and is heading directly towards your door. You see that the demons and soldiers are being thrown aside, diving out the way as they can, as this giant snake is just heading straight through like a crashing lorry directly towards the door that you're holding. Do you do anything? Or do you...
I still want to do the move of just to tame her. I don't know. No, I think can we run?
Yeah, so
Is this- Is this going to hit us?
Yes, it's heading directly towards you.
Can I just try my hardest to pull the door open so we can get through in time?
Oh, no, as I said, you're through the door.
Then close the door, I guess?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Close the
Can
door, then
I-
we'll be alone.
Or can I cast Shield of Faith?
You do that now, not against the big thing that was going to hit you earlier.
Well, I mean, if we're going to die.
How long does it last?
Is there any last one turn?
Yes.
I think if we close the door, we've stopped the snake, but obviously we won't have backup when we go in until the snake's dealt with. But I feel like that'd be true regardless.
Oh yeah, no, I'll help you close the door.
Okay. Everyone who helps, please roll a strength check. Oh no, an ability throw strength, not saving throw. Yes, a check. Sorry.
Strength check, yeah.
Yes.
I guess I should help. It's extra strength, right?
Yeah. So you
Do I
all
just add-
push on this heavy door.
So is everyone rolling, or am I just adding their ability modifiers?
Which one would people prefer? Would people like to be exciting or use the help action?
Well, I have a
do
minus,
wanna-
so I'm not
I
going
have
to be any
minus
help.
1.
Okay, in which case
Same.
we'll do the help action because then your -1s turn to +1s.
Right.
So I'm adding
Helping is always beneficial, basically. Okay, so just +2 to.
This is just strength, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so +5. That is a 16.
That's absolutely fine. You manage to push this heavy vault door, and as you close it, you hear a lock click into place. Before half a second later, the whole thing buckles inwards, and this you are thrown backwards down a few stairs by the impact. The dust falls from the stone ceiling above, but it holds. You are. The sounds of the battle are now muted. You find yourself standing on a staircase, heading down into the depths of the chateau.
Oh boy.
Here we go. There's no turning back now.
No.
Oh, okay. I think that's probably the last time I'm going to laugh when we're in here, so that was good. Get that out of the way.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's why I'm here.
Time to be brave.
Time
I
to be brave.
I'll put my big girl pants on.
start walking down.
You head down the stairs, and it's maybe the 30 or 40 stairs down. It's quite deep. But you find yourself in a relatively well preserved, stone vault. Like this wonderfully carved stone frescoes on either walls, and this is huge. This is like a small cathedral underground. In the center, two things catch your eye. Firstly, there was quite clearly at some point a beautifully lacquered, like dark wood table with 2 chairs, or 1 chair sitting at either end. You can imagine this is where the meetings would take place, in this beautifully ornate and free of all the muck that was upstairs meeting room. And secondly, you notice this table is broken, because lying back on it is a giant pig-like creature. Let's get an image for you. It's hideous. It's like hog-like head with giant underbite tusks, and this disgusting, fleshy, like kind of like camel legs covered in this dark green fur. Also covers this huge, flabby stomach with these 2 minuscule wings flattened underneath his body. His arms end in 3 clawed hands, which are spread motionless on either side of him. And his snout is upturned to the sky, with his mouth wide open. You also notice that quite clearly, thanks to the lit braziers on either side of this room, this appears to be made of stone. It looks like a collapsed statue. Standing on top of this statue of this hideous creature is a skeleton, precariously balanced on its upturned chest, on this beast's upturned chest. It is holding a sword which is just plunged deep, clearly into the chest of this creature. And that seems what has kept this skeleton upright. And from where you can see that this looks a very humanoid skeleton, its rags seem to have fallen away from it over time, but still sat upon its head is a crown. There is nothing else in this room, except a deep red light, similar to what is echoed from the skies above. And you see that the source of this glowing light is the sword itself, lodged deep within the stone and held by the skeleton. That is the scene you find yourself in.
Dusk say to not use your hands. Do you have any mages, gloves?
Do I have anything that could do
I
I have
have.
gloves, but they're fake.
I had that cloak we found.
Yep.
In the last castle.
Oh, the one, your cloak of many things.
Yeah.
You could try using that.
Pretty sure I had some. There was one with some gold on it, and
Yeah,
I got a canoe in there. You know.
you definitely have it. So you, I guess, make your way up to this creature. You're going to have to climb up onto this rigid body. You find yourself like staring down this mask of anger and hatred on this statue. You look at the sword and you see that Skeleton's hands are gripped tightly around the sword, although now it appears to just be holding it all together rather than anything else. What do you do?
Do we think pulling the sword out of this stone thingy will make the stone thingy come back, or do you think this thing's dead?
Could we roll an investigation check?
What are you
See if we
investigating
can see any like looking for any traps, like anything that might trigger if we move the sword. Is it in like?
Yeah,
I guess yeah.
Roll investigation.
Can you guys think of anything else to look for?
The only thing I could do is detect magic, but I didn't prepare that one today, so I'd have to do a ritual for it.
Okay. So that is a 12 plus 3.
15. You can't see any traps. The only thing you can see that will happen if you remove the skeleton, if you remove the sword, is that the skeleton may well fall apart.
Can I just say, while she was investigating, can I just open the closet thing, and with my rapier, I'm so sorry to do this, but try to take the crown, and if someone look at me weirdly, I'll just say like, well, I'm pretty sure Dusk is not going to reward us for that. Please,
Feel free.
for the orphanage. And I
go for
put it, okay, and I put it back.
You take the crown, sure.
We'll just say that sword was the defining feature that we thought it might be in the king. That's fine.
Ren, did you want to do the honors? I feel like, this is a sword fit for someone like
Yeah.
you. Here's
Okay.
a cloak if you want to.
I guess I'll make it so that I don't touch the sword directly. I will also cast protection from good and evil on myself.
Okay, what does that do?
Hi. I thought you would ask this. Okay, so this is a concentration up to 10 minutes. Until the spell ends, one willing creature, myself, is protected against certain types of creatures: abjurations, celestials, elemental, fae, fiends, and undead. The protection grants several benefits. Creatures of those types have a disadvantage on attack rolls against the target. The target also can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. If the target is already charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature, the target has advantage on any new saving throws.
Okay. So sure, you cast that upon yourself, and then can you describe what it is you're doing and how you're doing it?
I am going up to the hilt of the sword, and I'm pulling the sword out of the stone.
Sure. You manage to pull. So you're wrapping the. You said you're wrapping the cloak
Yeah.
around it first.
I'm not making direct contact with it, and I've cast a spell on myself. I should be fine.
So the first thing that happens is you've had the skeletons. Basically, it slides off. As you remove the thing that's keeping it up, it slowly slides off, hits the floor, and scatters with that kind of classic bone on stone clatter, as we all know and love.
Oh, one hundo.
You see as you're doing it that there is the deep gash within this statue, which has been caused by this sword, but you do begin to pull it out, and as you pull it free, it comes free with a jerk, and you notice that the red light that was encasing this sword begins flickering on and off very, very unstably. It doesn't appear to be growing, but it appears to be flickering a lot.
Guess I'll wrap the handle with the cloak for now and keep hold of it. I'm not gonna throw it or anything. Can I make some kind of check to see if I can figure out what it's doing? Because I feel like we've just disrupted something, so this could be what we were looking for, but at the same time, so there's any type of roll I can do?
Just general intelligence, I think.
Oh, my favorite stat. -1. Then I did roll a 19, so that is 18.
18. I mean, this fits every description of what little you have been told about. That, there may well have been attached something that's causing the portal. This had the same red light, and you were told to disrupt it, and it appears to be flickering.
Cool. I guess I'll wrap it up and have a look, see if we can find a way out of here.
Yeah, sure.
Or maybe have another look around, just to make sure that there's something else.
Sure. Would you guys, whoever wants to do that, roll a perception? And just what Leah and Eritrea are doing at this point as well.
So, I got a 11.
Okay.
Perception.
You look around and you can't see anything. You see some... Possibly that you were more paying attention to the glowing red thing, but you see on the far wall is a painting of the two kings together. Lord Skyfist standing much taller than Tobias Beaumont, but they are standing side by side with smiles on their faces. But that appears to have been a long time ago.
Instead of perceiving investigate for an exit?
You're essentially going to get probably roughly the same thing, just to stop everyone doing it individually. But it will take a few minutes for you to look around if that's what you wish to do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find anything else in this room.
There's only that one entrance and exit to this room.
Yes.
Ah.
As you start looking around, though, you hear from behind you a deep cracking noise. As it resonates and echoes around this otherwise completely silent chamber. And another one. And another one. And as you turn, you see that the stone on this statue is starting to crack. And as some of it falls away, it reveals a horrible, fleshy pink beneath. And then all of a sudden, the stone just explodes off as this disgusting creature raises itself off the floor, stands up on its horrific legs, and staggers slightly. That was an interminable slumber. This deep, piggy snort. 50-ish years. Too long. He will turn and he will look at the three of you with his tiny eyes set deep within disgusting, scrawled up face. And just who would you three be? Answer before your doom approaches.
I guess the reason. I guess the reason you woke up. My name's Ari.
The other two of you.
Guys.
I see in both of your heads. We can try to convince it about the opening, but we can also attack. Do you think we're up for it? Just Leah being.
Yeah, but as long as Ava's okay with that, yeah.
I mean, sure.
Cool. I am Ran of the Feywilds, and I am your end, and I will charge.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
What? Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
You guys have done so much you're not meant to do in this very short thing. But essentially then, because the fight is not ready, because of the time's going on, this is going to be the time that we would stop if you're going to immediately fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking it from Ren's point of view. He's seen how horrible the life has been here. He just wants to take it out.
Do we even know if it's evil though? We haven't even
Yeah, you don't know who the fuck it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely Nalfeshni. It's 100% Nalfeshni.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we cannot convince it without like a pact, and I don't want to be a warlock. We are missing out on some lore, I have to admit. I know. Okay.
We can always chat and then fight after.
Can we keep Ren's sentence and I just like
Yeah.
grab your
You
Your
can
arm-
input it later, that's fine.
Look, I'm going to say, like, if you want to fight, that's fine, but that is going to be the end of the session, because that's kind of where we're meant to pick up next time. If you don't want to, then that is up to you. I'm not... either way, it's going to be entirely up to you.
You guys can, completely, 100%, but I'm thinking it from Ren's point of view. He's seen everything, and he's just like, this is a way to end it, so he wouldn't just... The last time we spoke to a demon that ruled something, it didn't go well. He doesn't want it a repeat of that. It makes sense for Ren to charge at this moment. But if you guys want to talk first, Ren would obviously...
Especially as I forgot you're on a horse.
Yeah.
I think maybe just before you charge, but wait 1 second. And just I have one question. Who are you?
He will draw himself up fully.
I am Nalfeshni, father of the Nalfeshnis.
I heard a lot about you.
Hmm?
I've heard a lot about you.
Good. 50 years not yet wasted then. The
Now you
puny
kill him.
king's betrayal and sacrifice truly meant nothing.
Care to explain exactly what happened for us to finally know what happened in this room when the two kings apparently fought each other?
I shall humour you, since you have the pleasure of being my first victims of the new era. The two puny kings did their job almost to perfection.
Greg? Can I just say, when he starts his speech, I'm calling Dusk to ask for reinforcements anytime. Like, we are just buying time.
Yeah, sure. He will say, he will look down and nudge the bones of the human that has been fallen before just stepping on the skull and grinding it in.
The human somehow managed to convince the Goliath to talk, to gloat about his impending victory. And they both revealed to each other that they were working for me. It was fun, spending a decade whispering in their ears, pitting the two against each other, and the most bloody of wars.
How did you end up in the whole stone situation?
My own doing. A betrayal by the king against me, if you can believe such a thing.
And he will wince, and you see that he still has this deep wound above his heart, which is oozing this deep black blood.
Against all likelihood, the two enemies decided to try and take me down. And they used the very weapon that I gave them to try to do so. The strong one thought he was strong enough, but I managed to hurt him badly. I did not want the fight to end too quickly. I wished to take my many pounds of flesh. And so, the noble good King Tobias stood his ground and urged his old friend to flee. Requested that he look after his own daughter. A shame. I was looking forward to playing with the entire family myself.
No way.
A lucky hit. The strings of fate were not in my own favour. And he landed the own sword of petrification that I had given the little king. An unfortunate blow. I remember him gloating as he died himself for the wounds I gave to him. Gloating that he had ended me and saved the realm. Judging by the stench of my corruption I can smell in the world above, he was so very wrong. And as I stand, he lies dead. 50 years I was entombed in my own body, but now I am free, and I have much work to catch up upon.
So, if you were down here and you were statuing, why is there still a portal?
Statue.
The final ritual to open the portal fully was going to be the betrayal of the two former friends, the kings against each other. As it turns out, they decided to both betray me. But betrayal was still enough.
Same result.
It appears he used my own blood accidentally to empower that sword. Our sword can now open rifts between worlds.
Or close them.
Do you not see it flickering? My blood is not empowering it anymore. The portal is already starting to fade, I fear. And I cannot have that while my plan is still not fully completed. I am barely at the start, although your people apparently suffered for it 50 years in my absence.
Can I speak to Leah in the head? And just be like, tell Ren to chuck the sword, put it in the room of holding.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is try to slowly, nicely take it from the hand of Ren, not stealing from him, like making him understand to be discreet, that I'm going to take care of that. But Ren, if you have something to say, it's your moment.
Now's your moment.
You know, did you get your message?
The message. Oh, that little...
Very important archdemon.
The little slave of France, Ugblue. That filthy demon prince. I traded many favors with him to get where I am. But now I am awake and can fulfill my oaths. Make good on my deals.
Sounds like they're already fed up of waiting, though.
Very well. Now that I can empower that sword myself, I will open a portal of my own choosing where I wish. I'm sure my own children will be enjoying a new world to feast upon.
What was your aim in all of this?
My aim.
Mm-hmm. You bargained a ton of deals, which can only be probably terrifying that it's already been 50 years and you've managed to do none of them. What would make you go through such lengths?
The thing that all demons truly want. Power over others. In whatever form we can take it. Oh, this world would have been ripe for the taking and the conquest. Of course. What else possible reason could there be?
Oh, no reason. I was just hoping there was at least one redeemable quality about you.
And you don't think it's my charming visage, little holy man?
Soon I know. Absolutely.
You lost a few pounds of stone, but
Hmm.
nothing else.
Well, since the conversation has turned to insults, perhaps our own little parley is at an end.
Yeah,
He
we're
will
not letting you have the sword.
he will reach down into like his belly fold, lift it up, stick a hand in, and just pull out a disgustingly large cleaver with a jagged edge made of rusted metal.
That was in you. Oh god.
Ew.
Oh.
Give me my
Oh,
sword,
soon
and I will
know.
make this slightly less unpleasant.
We appears to be gone.
Oh, I thought.
What?
Did you have it?
No, did you?
Wait, what sword is he even talking about?
I don't. What's a sword?
And you wonder why they're all kind of played with as toys when you're so fucking annoying. You think yourselves smart. It will not take me long to find it. But your corpses shall tell many tales.
Yes, they will.
Sure.
Sure.
So, little Tin Man, little
Let's dance.
Right.
deadkin, and you look so squishy, barely worth even giving a title.
He says to Eritrea.
Yeah, can we just kill him now? I've had that.
Very well. Come and meet your end. I've been waiting a
gonna
long
walk over
time
there as well? This
for
guy's so
this.
lazy.
You guys suck at dramatic points, by the way. I'm trying so hard to make this dramatic, and you have done.
It is dramatic.
It is. I'm sorry. It's just what the sword freaking killed me, and I think it does ever since. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry, what killed you?
Oh, what's a
What's
sword?
a sword?
That just. I'm sorry. That absolutely killed me. Oh,
Sorry.
oh. I'm
Just
so
I can see
sorry.
them, when the tension is so big and the trio is just being dumb, be like, oh,
When
We
when
lost
we're
a sword.
scared, we turn to humor because it's
that's
all
fair.
we have.
we just follow Aries, what she does, and we just
Yep.
follow her thing.
Fake it till you make it.
We read in action. Avenger style.
I hope you've commended your souls somewhere pleasant. Not that it matters. I'll be dragging them with me anyway.
And
Great. Did I get an answer from Dusk? Are they coming?
oh yeah, what did you say exactly?
Oh, can they answer actually? Yeah. We are facing Lord Fishney. I give the location. Help. Sorry, there's a snake in the way.
You'll
You
send,
guys.
I guess, quite a few messages over this kind of speech that he's doing, and it's just
Yeah.
you get back.
We're still tied up here, and there's now a giant dead snake blocking the way.
Oh,
We'll do what we can.
He's dead.
I guess it
But-
just went straight to the top.
I don't know what you've done, but
Yeah.
the portal is flickering. The demons are wavering. Some are already running. Keep going.
Oh, I just say in the head of the others to give them motivation, even though I don't have bardic inspiration. It's working.
Good. Good.
Let's do this, guys.
Your numbers up, bro.
Okay, you broke me. You fucking broke me. Fucking James Bond.
Oh.
I don't have a gun to do it.
My own
Absolute
weapon
riot,
being
amazing.
used against me once again.
You're welcome.
You will not be as lucky as poor Tobias Beaumont. Ah!
And he'll fucking run at you.
It does the.
Okay. This is where we will freeze. We will be picking up
Okay.
next time with the the start of this fight.
I'm so sorry. What's a sword absolutely broke me, and then as I was recovering, Tash did hear what I was just lost. I'm so sorry.